Recently, in Weber and Walbrun's classes, students were taught how to use different annotation marks. Students also learned how to use a set of critical thinking elements as they interacted with text. They were investigating thesis statements and trying to evaluate them. Students tried to figure them out using the annotation tools and showing their thinking using the critical thinking elements, asking questions, making observations, looking carefully at the information, making inferences, and also making some assumptions too. Some of these thesis statements were written by Mr. Walbrun himself, but the majority came directly from students. Mr. Walbrun and Mr. Weber looked back through student papers to decide which ones to pluck to show to all students so that they could have a chance to evaluate them and think about which thesis statements were best and why, what were some of the things that they saw in these thesis statements that they could then try to incorporate into their own when they went back to revise their thesis statement. Students were given several minutes to sit and think and to write their thinking directly onto the 10 thesis statements that they were provided. These 10 thesis statements are actually the exact same ones that 7th graders are going to evaluate before they go to write their point for our second round of the writing prompt this year. Students had limited time to show their thinking, but they used their time very well. They did an excellent job of showing their thinking through the use of the annotation tools and by using the critical thinking elements. In this example that's coming up, you can see the excellent job that students did. Now Mr. Walbrun is about to have his students pair up so that they can share out some of their thinking.
Stand up. Go find, there's 23 people here today. So there'll be one group of 3. Other than that, go find somebody else. Hey, they can't be someone that's sitting next to you. You gotta cross the lines, do whatever you gotta do. And when you do that, I want you guys to sit down and talk about numbers 1 and 2. Talk about your observations. Just discuss it, because then we're gonna talk about it in this class. Let's go. Minute 30. Move. Really doesn't matter. Just grab a person. Let's go. Only one group of 3.
Oh, hey, we can be the group of 3.
We already have one right here. Or why don't you just grab here? All you gotta do is tell me what you noticed about it.
I rated it
1 and 2.
it had the right date, it had keywords such as implications and advancement and media. It also had the 19th century, and it had the cotton
Wait, you look at number 8. I just think that I guess it's like okay. I did because it said it made. Yes, I did that as well. But I remember 1794 because I thought that was good dates or exact dates. No, that's good that they use exact dates. And then, so number 2 I said upside down face. Just
very broad, but I think the word choice could have gotten some more attention because therefore slavery increased a lot. I think that they could have used exceptionally or a different word. I said,
Now that students have had some time to share their thinking with their peers, they are ready to share out in a class discussion. Mr. Walbrun can either choose to do some cold calling, or he can call on certain students, and any one of them should be ready to provide some sort of answer about their own thinking or that of their peers.